everybody, welcome. I'm going to give you a quick run through of making your own font book. The first thing that we need to do is set up a folder with two subfolders inside of it, so that way we can organize our screenshots that we're going to end up taking by their category of type. So to get started, let's go ahead and go to our desktop, and we're going to hold Control on our keyboard and click in this red space. You can also right click if you have a mouse that has a right click button. We're then going to click New Folder. To make or rename our folder, we're just going to click it once so it lights up this dark blue. And then we're going to hit Return on our keyboard. And we're going to call this Font Book. And then once we're done typing, we'll hit Return on the keyboard again. And we renamed this folder. Now what we need to do is double click our folder that we just made. And we're going to make 3 subfolders in here. We're going to call the first one Serif. We're going to call the second one sans serif, and we're going to call the third one script/display or graphic. And you can see those in the assignment page right here. So again, to make a folder in this folder, we'll hold Control and we'll click in this space here. We'll go New Folder. We'll call this first one Serif. We'll hit Return to name it. Hold Control, click again. New Folder. We'll call this one sans serif. Hit Return, and then we're going to do the same thing. Hold Control, click New Folder, and then we'll type in this one, script/graphic. And then we'll hit Return again to name that folder. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Adobe Typekit. Adobe Typekit has lots of free fonts that we're able to use because we have an Adobe account through the school. Now, what they've done recently is Adobe Typekit added a bunch of images to show you how you can use the type, which is really helpful if you're trying to get an understanding of how to use it. As of right now, we really just want to look at the typeface itself. So we're going to actually uncheck where it says images here. And instead of having it say grid, we're going to change it to our list form. And then what we're going to do is where it says choose sample text, we'll click this down arrow and we're going to just click the alphabet here. Now by doing this, we can now see all of the different typefaces that they have. Now if we go all the way to the bottom right now, notice how they have 261 pages. We don't need to look through all 261, but we do need to organize them by different categories of type. So if we look over to the left, we'll see our classification here. Notice you'll see we have our sans serif, we have our serif, and then we also have up here these different tags. And notice how these look a little fun and funky. These is where you're going to find your script and graphic typefaces. To get started, what we'll do is we'll click on sans serif, so that way we can organize all of our typefaces over here on the right just by sans serifs. Now what you're going to do is look through all of these different categories and you're going to find 10 that you like. Now there are 75 pages here. You don't necessarily need to go through all 75 pages because there are lots of really great typefaces. However, I do want you to spend time looking through the typefaces for ones that you really like because we are going to use these later for yourself and for some other projects. So you want to be making a collection of typefaces that you think are interesting and exciting to you that you can use them later in this class. So if we go to the top and as we start looking through, I noticed that there is a couple typefaces that I like, a couple that I don't like. Some are maybe a little too funky for me and some of them are maybe a little too simple. But as I get down here again, I noticed that there's this typeface here. It looks like it's called Gittin or Gittan or Gishin. I'm not really certain, but I like the way that it looks. So what I'm going to do is hit Command-Shift-4 on my keyboard, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag, and just take a screen capture of the typeface along with its name, so that way I can get back to it later. Now, once I take that screen cap, I'm going to click, hold, and drag it to the, in this case, the sans serif folder that I made. So that way I can really organize these ahead of time so I know how I want or where they need to go when I make them and put them in my Google Doc. Now, you're going to grab 10 different sans serifs that you like. You'll look through all these different pages down here and find 10 that you like. You'll take your screen caps, add them there. You'll do the same thing for your serifs. Then once you finish your serifs, you're going to actually unclick where it says serifs here, and then you're going to click your different tags. So you can go to Funky. Funky is my favorite one. You have a lot of really fun things happening here. And then you'll get 10 different typefaces from these different categories up here. Now, once you've added your all your screenshots, so let's say, and just for the sake of demonstration purposes, I go into undo my Funky tab. And let's say I have, just for the sake, I'll just copy and paste this one 10 times in here. And then that way I can have an example to show you what to do next. So once you have all of your screenshots, don't copy and paste like I'm doing here. This is just to show you what to do next. So once you have all 10 of your screenshots, what you're going to do is open up your Google Docs, and you are going to start a new blank page. From there, what you're going to do is rename it just by clicking up here. You're going to name it your last name, first initial, and then an underscore, and you're going to call this font book. So this way we can see all of our typefaces that we're going to put here together. From there, what you're going to do is just give yourself a header up here. So you can call this one sans serif. And then what you'll do is just simply click on one of your typefaces or one of your screenshots, or you can select all of them simply by clicking the top one, hold shift, and selecting all of them. If you are in, say, an icon view, so if yours looks like this, what you can do is just click, hold, and drag all of these into your document. So then that way you don't have to do one at a time. So that way you can have all 10 here. Once you add all 10, add another category for serif, and then you can click, hold, and drag all your serifs down in there. So you're going to have 30 different typefaces organized by their 3 different categories. Once you have done that, what you're going to do is move on to part 2. And then after part 2, you're going to save it as a PDF and submit.